I don't know about you, but I can get caught in the habit of a thing and then forget the reason why I do the thing. Yeah. And that's one of the challenges of regular ministry is that whether you're a pastor preaching or someone facilitating musical worship, or whether you're a hospitality person, or whatever it is that helps this community be a community, you do it long enough and regularly enough, and the temptation is to forget your why. Like, why am I doing this? And I think it's so healthy individually and as a team to return to that regularly. And the best way to do that is through the vehicle of your own story, right? There's a reason that you're here, that this matters to you because you've found Jesus in this place of musical worship. What an incredible thing. Mm-hmm. And then you've been entrusted with that ministry to people, you know. And so to remember that, of course we want to do the songs well, and we'll talk about all that stuff, but all of that is scaffolding. Yeah, it's not the point. And I do think, I must be careful not to get on a soapbox here, but I think one of the great dangers of modern Christianity, contemporary Christianity, is that we get very confused with worship and entertainment. Mm-hmm. It's so subtle, and all the people we're watching on YouTube and listening to on Spotify and all the things, I mean, it's wonderful, but we got to think about what our aspirations are. Like, what are we going after? Are you trying to be the next name your band flavor of the month, right? Not that those people are bad in and of themselves. I don't know their heart or what they're doing or why they're doing it. I'm sure it's wonderful. But just to say worship is not entertainment. It's just not the same thing. And the goal is not to have good music, although that's nice. Good music facilitates the goal. We don't want bad music. We don't want to not practice and not honor God and not steward what He's given us and look after our voices and learn the chords and try to play together in the same key, and all those things are helpful. But what are we doing here, right? We've been entrusted with facilitating and curating spaces where people can encounter Jesus. It's like, what a thing. And when you return to that as your reason, it animates everything. Everything changes in the why of what you're doing. And I don't know about you, but I was kind of trained in the music of worship under the shadow of Hillsong United, which is amazing. I pre-ordered every album before it arrived in South Africa, and all I wanted to do was be Marty Sampson, basically. That was who I wanted to be, Joel Houston and Marty Sampson. My friend Mark Reeves was going to be Joel Houston. I was going to be Marty Sampson. We're going to be the next Hillsong, And it was fine. It was great. But I was kind of trained in this almost like a corporate style of musical worship. It's like very tight, very ordered. Everything must flow. There must be no space or gaps. It's got to be like this machinery. I don't know, and like a run sheet, and like, okay, we'll have a 30-second countdown, and then we'll have our intro. We had clicks in the backing track, so it's like, and 3, 2, 1, intro. And if you missed your 3, 2, 1, then it was like end of the universe, and now we have to like fix the train wreck and somehow get back into the groove. And if you wanted to like hold a bridge, you couldn't hold a bridge because that's not in the backing track. The backing track, and you've got 2 minutes for that song, so don't take 2 minutes 30, because then you'll mess up the 25 minutes for the preacher, and then we won't be able to have that was kind of like, I was trained in that tight, and God can work in that stuff. My particular journey has taken me to a place where I much more value authenticity over what we've come to call excellence, because I think that God thinks that excellence is a different thing. I don't think that God thinks that excellence is how slick your band is. I think that God thinks that excellence is the state of your heart. I think that's the excellence God's pursuing. And so I'm much more interested in being with people who are consecrated unto the Lord, repentant and surrendered in awe and in worship and in adoration, bringing their song as a gift to Jesus. And if we get through one song, we get through one song. If we're going to sing one song for the next 45 minutes, that's where we're going to be, That's my particular style. Now, I'm not saying you have to be there, but that's just, what that's done is it's facilitated for me a place of greater authenticity and freedom. So one of the things I'll say to people is like, I can play all complicated things, but when I'm leading worship, I always use a capo. I know that's lazy, but the reason is because I don't have to think. So if I'm G minus CD, I genuinely, now I don't have to think, now I'm just feeling it. And then what that does is it frees me up to lead worship. Yeah, because now I'm not thinking about where the chords are going, I'm just kind of feeling. And now it helps me be like really present to the moment. Of course, this is also different, like if I'm playing like backing, if I'm playing a lead instrument or something like that, then I may get more technical. But if I'm vocal leading and guitar leading, I'm up and down this fretboard with a capo because the most important thing is not the complexity of my guitar skill. The most important thing is that I'm present to the Spirit of God in the room. And so anything that's like holding me back from that, I just want to shut that down. And I want to make it as simple as possible. Because attention to Him and what He's doing in the room is the most important thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so then that ties into what Raj kind of asked me to speak to a little bit this evening, which is this idea of space. And so this has been like an unlearning for me that's created a learning. So again, when I was trained in musical worship leading, it was like very tight, very clean, because how are you going to record an album if you're all over the place? Because that's the goal, of course, to record an album. And so we had like this high level of what in that stream of Christianity they called excellence, and it was quite pressured. And like, man, I prayed with some incredible instrumentalists. Like, these people were amazing by necessity. They had to be so good. You had to memorize all your chords. You could have no stands on the stage. It was like this real thing. But I felt like that pressure robbed me of like the authenticity of being with Jesus in the moment, you know. And so then since then, I've done a lot of house church stuff. I'm just like with people. And I've found what's called harp and bowl worship. I don't know if you know what this is. This kind of comes out of IHOP prayer, this style. It's like house of prayer style worship. And again, I'm not saying you have to do this, but this is what I come with this evening, right? So we would like get in a room, a bunch of people, and I'm going to just demonstrate, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, we'll talk it through in terms of space now. So to say, the animating idea for me is Moses and Joshua. And Moses is in the tent and he's meeting with God face to face, and so powerful. But then one of my favorite verses there is, it says, and Joshua would linger. He would linger in the tent. And so Moses would leave and Joshua just lay there and linger. And it's my conviction actually that it was that prolonged season of lingering that prepared Joshua to be the Joshua he needed to be later on to take Israel to the promised land. It was the presence that prepared him for the purpose, right? And I think in our age right now, we need a lingering church. Because there's some big things, there's some big giants we need to overcome. We're going to have to lead some people into. John Tyson, he wrote, like, a terrified world needs a fearless church. You know, like there are some big things we have to go after. But we'll be prepared for those things in the place of lingering, in the place of dwelling and abiding and being with. And so I think if your service is seamless and there's no space, if there's no like silence, nothing ever rests, I don't know if we're training our congregations to abide with God. Yeah, I think we have to train people in the awkwardness of silence. Yeah, that's part of our ministry to them. Because again, ministry isn't giving people what they want, it's giving them what they need, right? Like it's part of discipleship. We have to go ahead of people and lead them into stuff. So we have to coach our congregations how to be in the quiet with God, how to be in the empty space with God, how to be in the stillness with God, how to linger in His presence. And so then if all our sets are like one song to the next song to the next song with a 30-second break and an intro in between, we're facilitating adrenaline spirituality. Yeah, and that looks more like entertainment in the corporate world than it does like the church. And so I just want to say, like, we should integrate space into our musical worship places so that we can mature our congregations to abide and linger with God. Yeah. So what does that look like? It would look like something like, and again, you're going to have to contextualize this, but if I'm in a room with a bunch of people, I don't always know what I'm going to do. Most of the time I don't. So then I'll just wait. Just hold a key. So now I'm in A, because most people can sing in A. It's kind of nice. It's a bit of a stretch for guys, but it's not too much of a stretch for girls. You get a little bit more volume out of people when you're in A. If you're in G, you don't get as much volume, and I need a bit of volume from people, right? So I'm out in A, and now I'm just holding. And I'm coaching the people. So I'm going, okay, as you're here, just slow down right now. Wherever you've come from, what does your day look like? We've all come to church from different places. And some of us are feeling ready to worship God, and some of us are carrying different things into this room right now. But what we're grateful for is that God is here in the room. And I'm just helping people arrive. You know? And then I'm just listening. And I'm encouraging them to listen. Just listen to the Spirit. The Spirit of God is here. What is the Spirit of God doing in you right now? If you're new to church and if you don't know what I'm talking about, we just believe that God's present. He's with us always. And then we can listen to Him anytime. He can speak to us in all things. So maybe just what's on your heart to say to Jesus right now? Do you see, now I'm bringing people into this space. I'm not rushing into it. I'm just holding space. And I'll wait. And now I'm listening for the Spirit, and I'm going. Maybe a melody comes up from the congregation, so I'm hearing. So what's in you right now? What will you?
The melody.
Yahweh. Okay, because everyone brings a hymn and a psalm and a spiritual song. So now I'm listening. And now we got Yahweh. 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 Just sing with me. Yahweh. 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 And then I'm feeling that, right? So now, maybe that's enough. Maybe we got that, something's going on. But maybe the church starts getting it. Like maybe there's like Granny Pam in the front is like, yo, I'm into this Yahweh thing. And we just take it, we go there, because everyone's leading, everyone's worshipping. So now Granny Pam's in. She's like me, I needed to sing Yahweh today. So now we start to build a little bit. Now the band was Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Church sing Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Can you feel that? Just so simple. Because we're just like being with Him, right? And then you may have something in your set now. So like, what's the song you're doing on Sunday?
Goodness of God. Good. I love you, Lord. For your mercy never fails me. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness.
Now sing it together, church.
All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful.
Just there, because that's where we're at. That's the sweet spot right now.
All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God.
So now I would hold that space. Just go, okay, church, just if you have some prayers that are kind of bubbling up inside of you, and I have to coach them now. Think through your week, think through your life. Where have you seen the goodness of God? Where have you seen His faithfulness in your life right now? Because this is worship. It's not just the singing stuff. We're calling attention and awareness to God at work in people's lives. Where have you seen His faithfulness? Okay, lift up a prayer. Pray out loud. So now, whatever's going to happen, things are going to happen. We're going to wait. And I'm okay with awkwardness as well. So if it's quiet for a little bit, that's fine. Okay, so think about it. Where have you seen the faithfulness of God? Small things, big things. Okay, now when you're ready, just a prayer. It doesn't have to be a long sermon, maybe just one word, maybe it's even just thank you, but just lift up your prayer to Jesus. Just thank Him for His faithfulness. Don't be awkward with the silence, right? Just silence, fine, so fun. Being quiet with Jesus. And then you'll feel that, and then you'll be like, your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
Your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
Your goodness.
Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now and give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God.
And then I'm okay to just like hold that now. I'm just like hold whatever key pattern you're in. If you're in A, just like hold. You can just hold the A. You can just cycle between your A and your D. Just hold that and see what happens. You know, just give it some time. Like we don't have to rush and run to every other thing. And then what would be another song that you're doing after that?
It's the new one, you don't know.
Behold.
To be like you, or to
Behold him.
or behold him.
Yeah. So then you would play and hold, and again you're encouraging people to be aware of the presence of God. So there's like a tension to manage it because you're not the preacher. Yeah, so you don't need to bring a sermon, but you are coaching the congregation, you're teaching them how to worship. So it's okay, like you don't have to be afraid to like use some of your words, to like move in the prophetic and like feel the room. And then highlight, okay, God is clearly doing this here, God is doing that there. And particularly as the congregation's like young in this, they're going to need some help, they're going to need some guardrails to like get there. Once they mature in this style of worship, then my picture is my favorite. When you know when you're on, it's like building a fire. And there's like all this dry kindling. And then the job of the worship leader is literally just to throw the match. And then when that thing's burning, you just step back and let it burn, man. You just try and hold on for the ride because the church is going to lead you, you know. And that's the beauty of this style of worship, is it's like very congregation-led actually. But you got to kind of grow them into that if they're not used to it. And so initially that may look like a little bit more coaching and like helping them see it and helping them feel it and taking them with on the journey. And then as they kind of come into that place of being able to abide and rest, you'll have to do less and less and less, and the church will actually take it. And then you'll reach a tipping point where that's your culture of worship. And then when people come in, even for the first time, they just kind of get caught up in that. And that's how they worship. Does that make sense? And so really what we're talking about is like transitioning, I think, from a style of worship that for a long time has been very corporately influenced and very performance in its nature. Even if it wasn't that up front, those were some of the animating ideas that were holding it, like seeker-sensitive church. You know, you got to try and make it not too weird, not too spiritual, like all these kinds of things. Yeah, I just want to say to you, like that dispensation has passed us now. The thing that God is doing in the earth now is about authenticity. It's about a real move of the Spirit of God. People are after after Jesus, and actually, it's hard for me even because I was trained in like seeker-sensitive church model, church growth strategies, all these kinds of things. And in that world, man, you don't get too crazy about Jesus. Like, don't get too weird. Like, tone it down, make it normal. I just want to say everything I'm seeing when I travel now is the exact opposite of that. People, where we are seeing like moves of God are in places of authentic, sold-out spirituality. Where guys they're not like being weird for the sake of being weird, but they're just in the room going, man, we love Jesus. And we are going to worship Jesus like we love Jesus. And we want to invite you to worship Jesus like you love Jesus. And if you don't know Jesus, come worship Jesus. You'll love Jesus too, you know. And when the Spirit moves and when there's like space, and I think this is where the juice is. And I actually think that the best stuff is in the stripped down things. So you'll notice actually that in a lot of, now think about the Asbury revival in America recently. Man, this was like a massive revival. This little town in Kentucky literally got shut down because there were so many people coming. It like halted industry there. And when you look at that, there was no headliner, there were no lights, there was no smoke machine, there wasn't even a very good band. They were kind of like average musicians up there with a guitar singing shout to the Lord kind of stuff, you know, and just there in their honesty and in their stripped down and in their normalness. And people were just coming to the simple presence of God. And I really do think right now, in terms of what God's doing in the earth, that's like where the pulse is. So, all of that being said, how do you transition that? Because chat with people and they're like, okay, but we can't do that. So I would say if this is where you would like to be a team, and I think this is just biblical worship, really. I think you may have to have it more structured up front until you grow in your capacity to do it more intuitively. So, like, eventually you want to get to the place where you're just feeling it, and you're like, particularly as a team, you're feeling it, right? But up front, you may want to, like, structure in, like, to begin with. So you may say, okay, let's say we've got a set of 3 songs. You would want to look at that set and go, okay, in these 3 songs, where could we create some space? Where could we create just some listening space? And then you would think quite intentionally, how are we going to coach people into that space and out of that space? Would that look like maybe we've got a psalm, or maybe we've got something like a thought, and then we would want to create some space. Who's going to do that? How long, more or less, would we hold that for? So initially, that would be more architected. You would kind of start building a culture of space. But as you do it more and more and more, as individuals and as a team, you'll be able to feel it more and more. And then it'll become way more intuitive. And then in that place where it's intuitive, I think that's the juice. That's like the good space. But like, don't feel pressure to be that right up front, because it's just new for some people. But I do think creating space, not just in the musical worship space, but in services in general, just in the way we gather, like creating space and silence, people to come to like land in their actual lives, to slow down, to hear the voice of God and what they're doing. These are real valuable things, So that's some of what I had. What that would look like as a team, I think you'd have to work that out. I would say that the easiest place probably to do it, depending on your proficiencies and your instruments, but like pads, super easy. Such an easy thing to hold with pads. So you're coming, like let's say you're in a song in A, and you finish the song, you've hit the chorus, so good. Just hold that in the pad. Maybe the guitarist is just doing a little tinkly thing over here. The thing, this is band dynamics now. I would say, like, always think about the fact that however many people are in the band, you should divide the total by that amount. So if there's 4 people in the band, then anyone should only be bringing 25%. Yeah. So because if everyone's bringing 100, you got 400%. That's too much. Yeah. So like if you got like 4 instrumentalists, it's kind of like you're mixing, right? So if your lead guy is bringing pads at 30%, pad is keys, but not like strings is too sharp.
Guys, in between,
Just a holding.
Just like a woo.
Yeah. Do you have a little pad we can?
Yeah,
Go.
it's if you let me just.
And put it on pads.
If you turn that off,
Is this helpful? I don't know. I feel like I've just been talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
see, but
It's a good day.
that's the kind of with pads.
Yeah.
It's just
So, yeah. Okay, beautiful. So, how does this chorus here? Jesus, Son of God.
He doesn't. go to goodness of God, because everyone knows goodness of God.
Or holy forever.
Or holy forever or something.
Holy forever.
Only forever.
Do holy forever.
I'm going to find it now.
Just add it to your songs for Sunday.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. See, I'd already been seeing in my head that behold,
Goodness of God.
just
Only forever has had.
It's to goodness of God. Okay, so
just
goodness is
That's what I see.
running out. Okay, so church is it? Running out to me.
Your goodness is running after me.
With my life laid down, surrender now. I
Give you everything. Your goodness is running after
No, just kind of
me.
hold it. And then maybe just kind of alternating like chord. Just like that. It's like holding it. And then you're kind of coaching the church through it. So now whoever's leading that song is going, God's good, church. And you're not preaching, we're staying here. We're in the place of worship, but this is holding. Just going, man, God's good. Just take a moment, church. Just think about the goodness of God. Just let that wash over you right now. Just let gratitude just start to rise up inside of you. Just take a moment. Just hold it. Yeah? In the quiet. Don't rush. Don't feel like anything has to happen. Just, we're genuinely, this is not a performance. We are genuinely listening to the Spirit of God, asking, because Holy Spirit, what worship do you desire this morning? That's what we want to give you, right? Okay, so lead us, Holy Spirit. Okay, church, if there's just one or two prayers, just want to pray out loud. I want to encourage you, pray out loud. Just thank God. It's such an ego, the goodness of God. I mean, you can just go right in there. People are going to pray. Or they're not. It's fine either way, but don't be ashamed. Then you might just hold it. And then because now he would be holding the pad, and I would just go, all my life you have been faithful.
All my life you have been faithful.
Just sing. And then maybe, what are you in? You're an A.
You have been so good. And every breath that I am able, I will sing.
So now this is a little cheat for you, Nicole. If you want to build anything, just downstream. So here we are, a little bit. Now we build this. All my life
You have been faithful.
a little bit louder, just downstream.
All my life you have been so good. Every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
And Roger's on the count order. Ba, 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 ba.
All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing the goodness.
Just hold that. Then we just see where we're going. And just that oscillating between chords and the keys just fills up the space. It's chord to chord. And then you listen, and then you're communicating as a band. Don't feel afraid. It's okay. Ready? Okay, next song. What would be after this? Whatever that is. Transition in, and off we go. Yeah? So I would say, if you can get to a place where that's kind of the nature of your worship, where it's just like this, you're just flowing, that's where you want to get to. But if you want to start building toward that, start to architect intentional spaces into your sets. Find optimal moments where you go, okay, maybe there's a song and then another song that are in the same key. So that will be an easy transition. Okay, so we could just hold that chord structure in some space. We're going to have a thought that leads us in. We're going to hold it with the church and be there, and then another thought that leads us out. Architect that, practice that a little bit, and coach the church. So again, you don't want to dump this out on a church that's not used to it, but begin to coach the church into it week after week, and then begin to stretch them a little bit, a little bit. Maybe I would say you actually need less songs and more worship. Does that make sense? We're so in this mindset of worship has to be 3-4 songs. But it's I don't know. If you're in the place of worship, you could sing one chorus for 3 days. That, you can totally do that. So I think sometimes less is more. But again, you want to bring your congregation with you. So how do you start to stretch them week by week? Begin to maybe tone down on how much we're doing and coach them into how we're doing that thing, And then you get all kinds of beautiful spontaneous things. You sing, and this is now, as you get more proficient in the style, you leading and someone starts singing a song, and you go, oh, we're going to hit that. And this has happened often. This was not in the set, but in free worship, this person was bringing out a chorus. Okay, band, we're going to take that one. And then we turn that up, and then it goes there,
And now we've all got digital music. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I've said so much. I don't know. Is that how does that land? Is it okay?
Yes.
I think there are other issues as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have a couple here, Nigerian couple, and he played kids. And he was very mobile, very free, and very smiling. And it's very easy to be planted and to be serious and for it to look from there as if we're working. Yeah, and then when you're leading worship, it's not always easy to worship yourself when you're conscious of out there, you know, and thinking, if I get lost in this song, they're going to wonder what on earth I'm on, you know.
Or
So,
they'll get lost with you.
sorry?
Or they'll get lost with
Or
you.
they'll get lost with me,
And-
yeah.
I think you're right. If you look miserable up there, then
Yeah.
I don't know what what are we saying to
Well, I hide behind
the
music
rest of the
steps.
church?
That's what, sorry
So-
to interrupt, but this is one of the things that I noticed from going, not like leaving, can you not film? Just bobbing about other churches. It kind of feels like an us versus them mentality. It's like when I've sat in the congregation and looked at us, and please forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn, this has really been thingy, like, maybe just a suggestion, like stepping forward on the stage, so it's like we're all together. It's not like, oh, you shoved at the back and everyone's trying to hide. Because like if you're called, like you're qualified, like I need to practice that myself massively. Because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hide behind, you know.
Yeah, Viv says to me, whoever's leading, they need to be at the front. They
So-
need to be
Yeah.
close enough the congregation can see them out.
So the challenge that we've got
It's the
here
screen.
at the moment
Yeah.
is where the screen is, because you come forward, and then because of how our congregation sat, they then can't see
But
the
now with
words.
the words at
So-
the top of the screen, it's less of an issue. When they're in the middle, it's more of an issue. No, moving all the words up
Yeah,
makes
well,
it
they
easier.
went back to the middle for Zoom, so it is a
Yeah.
you know, it is something to be addressed, because ideally we don't want to be two sides either. We want to be together, but the only way to do that is to actually have the words
I understand.
here.
To
rather
buy
than
two nice big
in the
TVs
middle.
for either side there. We have to have in the
Yeah.
middle.
A question I'd like to ask is, how long does it take you to readjust
What do you mean?
from
Oh, from like
from
very ordered work.
corporate or
Yeah.
because it's taken me 4 years
Yeah.
to don't care if you make a mistake.
Yeah.
But if you made a mistake, you were in big trouble on Tuesday. You were called out to this in front of the Sanhedrin, and you got because you made a mistake. You can't do that. It's not the image of the church. You've got to be posh. And it's taken me about 4 years to actually don't care anymore. Who cares if you
Good.
sing the wrong note? It's hard. Very difficult. It's been very
I
hard
think the
because I was
challenge
pushed. Practice, and you make one mistake and you're in such
And
trouble.
actually, you know, people out here, they don't know,
No,
don't notice if you
Nobody knows, really.
a wrong.
Nobody would know anyway.
Except
That's true,
Pat will notice you
Yeah.
still don't.
but the powers that be who are running the show
Yeah.
will see you made a mistake and you
Yeah.
think your ears boxed for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I left that. I went to a very little church in South Africa, and it was like a whole new world had opened up.
Yeah.
People didn't care.
Yeah.
Kiddies ran around in front of the church, and this kind of thing. And it's taken me a long time to readjust to
I
that.
really understand.
I haven't got to that yet. I still leave my instrument at home. So I'm petrified of getting it wrong.
It's like that performance thing, isn't it? It's not a performance where we're being judged. It's like
Yeah.
We've got to create
but they're
it.
saying it's not, but it is very,
Correct.
very performance-based.
Yeah.
We want
Yes.
to do the best that we can, but
Yes,
if
for
we
sure.
don't create
Yes,
a
no.
space where people leave this place going, I've just met with God. If we don't create that space,
But the best,
that's what we fail on, not whether we.
the best that we can isn't necessarily our musicality. I
No,
was
it's
at a
not.
Christian conference where the worship was, you got the feeling that the building might not stand up to it, you know? And the speaker was really good. And I got the tapes, this is old, you know, I got the tapes. And I got the tapes home. And I remember that worship, and I remember how wonderful it was. But the tapes only recorded the stage. They didn't record the congregation. The band were awful. Absolutely awful from a performance point of view. It was like, first we need to tune the guitar, and then we need to tune her, and then he needs to sing the same key. It was absolutely awful without the congregation. Well, they couldn't perform, they couldn't play, but gosh, they could lead.
That's one of the things I've noticed when I've come in on Zoom and watched it, because there's no mics above the congregation. You only get the band.
Mm.
Yeah.
You don't get, and sometimes I feel it's that interaction between the two
Yeah.
that is what makes it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's great from technically you're listening and you're watching it and you're able to get into it, but you miss
Being part of it.
those
Yeah.
bits where there's actually somebody who isn't part of the worship team that's perhaps visiting or that's sat, and they do this, something happens and it just raises it. I mean, I get that sometimes when I'm on stage and I'll hear, just in the back of my head, I can hear somebody that's singing it either really high or really low, or a completely different melody than I've ever heard before, or a different harmony. That was the word I meant, harmony, not melody. And then it just fills.
Yeah.
We do have to make sure that the monitors are not too loud on stage, because if we don't hear what people are doing out here, we're losing something.
Because we've
as
got
well.
to respond, haven't we? It's no good us saying, well, we're going to do this one and we're going to do it 3 times, and the congregation goes dead. And it's like we need to say, well, we had a plan, but forget the plan. You know, and this song, they've picked it up and run with it, let's keep it going.
It was like at Christmas when we weren't going to sing one of the verses, but the congregation were. So
Yeah. So I think one of my favourite things is that at the end of the day, when people leave, if they go, we've got an amazing band, we've got a great preacher, we failed. They must leave going, we've got an amazing God. If people leave here going, there's an amazing God, then we've succeeded. As soon as if anything focuses on us, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I really get frustrated at the number of times they applaud.
Well, I don't think people are applauding the band.
I know.
But you've got to, there is a risk.
But for some people who are new to church, that's what they perceive it as.
Yeah,
But
but
we're actually, you know, when people are applauding, they're applauding God, aren't they?
Yeah,
How
but I think
awesome
that's part of coaching.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, I was showing Nicole. There's all the words in the Bible around praise, which are very active and our people need to understand that lifting up your hands is not just a thing we want to encourage people to do, but actually it's a biblical way of worshiping and responding to God.
Can't do it, I'm still not there.
Yeah, no, but there's a whole, but once again, if you understand that it's not a British, and British people are so reserved by culture, but part of this, and I think part of our journey, is helping people realize that actually we want a biblical worldview. And we want to worship God, and actually there's a freedom in worshiping God, which is way beyond, and good.
one of my favourite phrases that I use in